Good afternoon. It's Creek Club Day, and Snooga and I are going to the creek by ourselves today. But here's what it looks like from my deck. You can see the trees are starting to leaf out, and we have over here, we have a beautiful serviceberry in bloom right here. Can you see it? And can you hear the creek and the birds? We've been seeing some wood ducks on the creek, but I haven't seen them today. One of our favorite things to look at in the spring and see blooming, although these aren't blooming yet, is bloodroot. Bloodroot, if you remember, when you pick it and you rub the sap on your skin, it's red. Here's one of my favorite spring wildflowers, bluebells. I like to imagine every time the wind blows those and the bells ring, the fairies are dancing. This is a dogtooth violet. You can see that it's not opened up yet, but you can see where many more are coming up here by the mottled brown and green leaves. This is a tiny little blossom called a bluet. Sometimes we see bunches of them. This one looks particularly pretty because of all the green surrounding it. I like to imagine that wherever bluets are blooming is where fairies have been dancing. Here we are at the big lake. Snooga's not with me right now, and I'll explain why in just a few minutes. But before I do, I wanted to show you the yellow rockets that are just starting to bloom. Pretty soon we will see fields of these. You can see the yellow buds just starting to bloom on them. They will be everywhere. There's the reason Snooga could not come. We are having problems with muskrats digging holes in our dam and making burrows in the lake and on the side into the dam. So John has set a muskrat trap. This is Sunday. He set it on Friday in one of the holes that they seem to swim into a lot. But so far, we haven't caught anything. We're hoping, I'm hoping anyway, that we catch something that we can put under the wheelbarrow to replace our escaped beaver. I'll get you up close so you can see the trap. Now you can see it much closer. When the muskrat swims through it to get into his hole, then the trap will spring and he will be caught, or she. And it's down here at the top. Can you hear the birds calling? I'm not sure what kind of bird it is, but it sure is calling. Remember the other day when I told you about the henbit that I saw blooming at preschool? This is a close relative of henbit. Actually, the flower looks just the same. The leaves on the plant are different. This is called dead nettle, but it doesn't sting like stinging nettle. That's why it's called dead nettle. And right over here, see, we're right at the lake. There is one of the holes that the muskrats are using. Here we are on the other side of the lake. You can see the muskrat trap way over there, which is why Snooga didn't get to come along. She might come and set it off. We don't want that to happen. But I wanted to show you here, right here, is a whole row of yellow rocket. And this yellow rocket is a bit more blooming than the yellow rocket we saw on the other side of the lake. I wonder why it blooms faster or comes out in buds sooner on one side of the lake than the other. There's yellow rocket. It's a pretty little yellow flower. Here I am on the back side of the dam, a place where we don't come very often, but I decided to walk over here so I could see if there were any new or different wildflowers or other things that might be of interest. Well, I scared up several deer, but I wasn't quick enough with the camera. But I did discover this path that the deer definitely take very, very frequently. It's very, very muddy and filled with deer tracks. Do you see that one there? And if I come down here a little bit, you can see another one. There's one too, going both directions. This is a dead branch along the side of the trail, but I thought those interesting orange shelf mushrooms were very cool. I'm not sure what they are, but I will definitely be looking them up in my mushroom book. This branch has lots of lichens on it as well. See that one? It's pretty cool. See this little flower? This is called a spring beauty. The pioneers used to dig up the roots and eat them like potatoes. Notice the pink stripes inside the petals on the flowers. This flower here is called toothwort, and it is an old folk remedy for toothache, thus the name toothwort. Well, here we are at the poison ivy patch. Snooga, come here Snooga, come girl, has rejoined me. She's quite excited to go. And as you can see, there's no little poison ivy plants coming up yet. But we could still sing our song. Poison ivy has 3 leaves, white berries grow upon it. It is food for birds and deer, but people should not get near. Poison ivy, leaves of 3. Poison ivy, let it be. Bush or vine, do not touch it unless you want to itch, itch, itch. But no poison ivy today, so we can walk in the woods with no fear. There's the little pond and Snooga, who of course went swimming. And right over here is the wheelbarrow. And there's been some activity here. Something is trying to drag our old bones that are still under there out from under. I wonder what might be eating the bones. Do you see all of them? I see some backbone. Snooga? No. A pelvis, some leg bones, some ribs. Snooga's quite interested. I don't know what could be eating those bones. Think about it. What do you think? And what could get them out from under the wheelbarrow? Here we are at the roundabout, and something has been digging at this hole that's filled with water and mud, and is trying to make it even bigger. Can you tell from the tracks here what it might be? What and why would these creatures be trying to make the hole bigger? And how do you think they are digging the hole? You can see lots of sharp prints on the edge. There's the picnic area, and there's Snooga. She wishes you were here with her. But look here at the ground. This is on the trail. Can you tell what's been walking here and which direction they're going? There are a lot of tracks. Snooga and I are getting ready to go down the trail to the creek. You can see, I'm not sure if you can see the thermometer or not, but the soil thermometer looks like it says about 50 degrees under the ground. And there is the thermometer on the tree, the trail tree, along with our rules. And it looks like it's about maybe 58 degrees. Pretty warm today. Here's a fun little spring flower that hasn't bloomed yet, but it's called a mayapple. They look like little umbrellas in the woods. These are kind of wilty today, but you can see this one has a bud on it that's just about ready to open up. They're hard to see sometimes because it's usually underneath the leaves of the plant. Here we are at the leprechaun house. It looks like many of the necklaces that he put here he has left for us to collect at a later date. And the leprechaun house looks fairly undisturbed from the last time we were here. You can see his furnishings, and it's kind of bare along here. There it is. There's our leprechaun house. Here we are at the creek, and you can see it's still pretty deep, but the bottom stuff is showing. Look at that dam. You can hear the creek talking to you. It's too deep to wade, but look, One of the trees fell down across the creek. I think that the bank just eroded away too much. So there's a big tree right in the middle of the creek where we often walk. I came down closer so you could get a better look of the tree that fell. I wonder if it made a loud noise when it fell. And look at all the debris hung up in it. And there's Snooga. Of course, she's going to go play in the creek even when it's too deep for us. She is having a great time splashing and playing. I wish you were here so she would... Oh, she's being crazy. I can't even follow her. She's doing the happy dog run. All along the creek bank, there's some little violets here just starting to bloom. Look at that. Violets for our violet. Look at this little flower. It's one of my favorites. It's called Dutchman's breeches. Breeches is another word for pants. And don't they look like little fairy pantaloons hanging on the clothesline? Snooga wants to check them out too. Here we are at the deer carcass. And you can see a lot of the hair has now disappeared. And look, there's not much left of the skeleton of this deer. Things have been eating on it. It's mostly disintegrating. Just some ribs, the neck, some of the head there. There's still lots of hair. I wonder if anything eats the hair. Look at this fun favorite that Snooga and I found along the trail. It's mullein plant, better known to you all as baby diaper plant. It won't bloom till a stalk grows up in the middle and has a yellow flower this summer, but right now the leaves are there. Look at this plant growing along next to the driveway. I think if we pick it, it will smell very aromatic. Let me see. Ah, look at that. Does that look like anything you've seen at your house? Yep, it's wild onion. Look at that. We could take it inside and make a little salad with it. And ooh, it does smell like onions or spaghetti. There's Snooga all ready to go in the house. She has a lot more fun when you're along. I hope next month we get to enjoy the creek all together in one place. I hope you had fun today and that you got to play outside some and visit a lovely place in nature for you. I miss all of you terribly. Be safe and be happy. Bye-bye for now. Signing off from Cedar Creek.